Hello and welcome to video 3 of the endocrine system. Here I'll be talking about the thyroid and parathyroid glands. Now, the thyroid is famously located right below your larynx, okay? And also it's pronounced larynx, not larynx. So here, this winged looking thing, this sort of guy that's shaped like this maybe, is your thyroid gland. It kind of wraps around there. There's a little connector here in the middle called the isthmus, like the Isthmus of Panama, which connects North and South America. So it's a little tiny strip of gland that holds onto those two lobes. Thyroid gland produces two notable hormones: thyroid hormone, TH, I didn't abbreviate it here, or you'll see it called thyroxine, and we'll see why in a minute, which is produced by cells that surround structures called the, follicle. Let me turn off my thing here and just go to the next page. So the hormone itself, thyroid hormone, is produced by a combination of these cells right here. These are called follicular cells, these guys that line it. And then this stuff in here is called colloid. So the stuff is colloid. The entire thing is a follicle, and the cells that line it are called follicular cells. Just for future reference, these guys are called parafollicular cells, and they make calcitonin. Let's go back to that first slide. Thyroid hormone targets a lot of your cells. It increases your basal metabolic rate, lets your systems develop normally when you're growing up. So it works with growth hormone. They would have a synergistic effect in the development of your organs, but you produce it all the time as an adult, just to keep your metabolic rate up. Calcitonin being produced by those parafollicular cells, as I mentioned, completely different hormone. This is kind of a confusing sentence. It decreases calcium loss from bones. So what I mean is that it's called bone sparing. It keeps your bones density high. You really need super high concentrations. If they gave you injections of it, it would actually act to lower blood calcium levels. But at the levels you produce it, it just kind of maintains bone when you need it to maintain bone. So if you've got a bone in, you're repairing bone or whatever. Notice here I've said it's the antagonist to parathyroid hormone. We'll talk about that in the next slide, or 2 slides. And one cheesy way that I remember what calcitonin does is it puts calcium in the bones. Calcitone in the bones. I know it's cheesy. I'll be here all night. So there's the diagram and a slide. This will be more important for your anatomy. For your lab, to know which of these cells is which. Just to restate it. It's pointing at them all. Follicular cells surround the follicle. Colloid fills the follicle. Parafollicular cells fill the spaces in between. All right, here goes a doozy of an image, but I'll try to walk you through it as peacefully as possible. So what we have over here, so you can see this little inset right here. So what we're dealing with in this area is that colloid in the follicle. So that's the colloid in the follicle. Each of these guys, this is a follicular cell right here, this big thing I'm circling. So, and this is a blood vessel over here on the left. So you ingest iodine in your food, and it's a necessary nutrient. You need it to make thyroid hormone. You absorb that iodine into these follicular cells, where it combines with a molecule called thyroglobulin, which is these little guys, right? But let's just say there are tyrosine units from that thyroglobulin. Here's a tyrosine right here. Here's iodine right here. Put them together, tyrosine plus iodine, and you've got these little building blocks for thyroid hormone. You don't have to know the abbreviations or even the names. MIT and DIT, that's monoiodothyronine. But that's T1. MIT is T1. DIT is T2. If you put a T2 and a T1 together, you get T3. If you put two T2s together, you get T4. Those are just variants of thyroid hormone, but we'll just call them all thyroid hormone, or you can call them thyroxine. That thyroid hormone then is kind of blebbed out here from the colloid and moved back to the capillary, where here you see the finished product, which then goes off to all of your cells and does your what it does, right? So there's a couple of disorders here that I'm pointing out. Goiter. If you have an iodine deficiency, your thyroid's built to collect iodine. So what it does is, when you have a deficiency, your thyroid gets bigger because it figures there's more of it, that it can catch more iodine. Of course, that's not going to solve the problem if you don't have enough iodine in your diet, which is why they did iodize salt. You'll notice that your salt shaker says, or your salt container says iodized salt. And Graves' disease is probably the most typical result of hyperthyroidism and overactive thyroid, resulting in sort of a real thin. You become thin. Your metabolic rate shoots up. Your eyes can become swollen because there's some fibrous tissue develops back there. It's treatable. And the last slide here, this is the other. May as well cover the parathyroid glands while I'm covering the thyroid glands, because they are in fact connected to the thyroid gland. This is the back, so we're looking at a dorsal view here of this person. These are the parathyroid glands. Usually have 4 of them. They're kind of embedded in there, and they produce a hormone called conveniently parathyroid hormone, or PTH. This hormone targets your bones and your kidneys, and the bone thing is the one that we are most familiar with. It's going to raise blood calcium levels. Now, how do you raise blood calcium levels? Well, you need the calcium from somewhere, and you're gonna take it from your bones. As a matter of fact, if I was to remove all of the calcium from my bones right now, I would go real limp. But if I was in like one of those, isolation unit pool, floating pool things where and I had a respirator and my muscles could work, I would live. If you took all the calcium out of my bones, I'd be real rubbery. I couldn't walk around, but I would live. Conversely, if you took all the calcium out of my blood, I'd be dead immediately. Immediate heart stoppage, immediate nervous system shutdown. So you're gonna need the calcium in your bloodstream to go to your cells for the functions that you learned in ANP1, right? Remember calcium and its role in the tropomyosin troponin thing? You don't have to remember it now. Just flashback. So it basically, parathyroid hormone raises blood calcium levels and acts as an antagonist. It does the opposite thing. It reduces calcium content of your bones. But you're gonna have that. I mean, that's absolutely necessary. It also targets the kidneys, and basically what it does is it prevents you from urinating calcium because you're trying to save it. And that's it.